across Bundesliga stadiums in Germany are protesting this weekend with 12 minutes of silence at the beginning of each match. This coordinated action expresses strong opposition to proposed new security measures by the German Interior Ministers' Conference, that is the IMK, which include personalized tickets, stadium bans on suspicion alone, and the deployment of AI-powered surveillance and facial recognition systems in football stadiums.
Yes, George, and we'll just have to wait and see if the Bayern Munich supporters actually join into this with this project, with this form of protest. First 12 minutes, no support. We'll just have to wait and see. I think, though, it's safe to say that at the moment Bayern Munich are the strongest and most informed team in Europe. They're still unbeaten. However, 2 weeks ago, in their last Bundesliga match before the international break, they were held by Union Berlin to a 2-2 draw. That was a game some of you might remember because we commentated on that one. Bayern were lucky to come away with a point due to a very, very late equaliser by Harry Kane. So we just have to wait and see how they are today, George.
Of course, Bayern, though, still have a comfortable 6 points lead, Alex, at the top of the table ahead of the RB Leipzig with Borussia Dortmund in third place. 7 points behind Bayern. Freiburg are 10th, Sport 6 points off the relegation playoffs today, Alex.
Right, and Joshua Kimmich, Jonathan Tah, Leon Goretzka and Alexander Pavlovic, these Bayern players all featured in Germany's 6-0 win over Slovakia. Now that win guaranteed Germany a World Cup qualification. Now, will these players feature today too? The team sheets are in. Let's start off with the lineups. Give us the home team, George.
Of course, at the goalposts, as you may have guessed, Manuel Neuer is beginning, and on the other side, Joseph Stanic, we have Dayo Opamecano, Jonathan Tah and Tom Bischoff, the youngster. At the midfield, we have Leon Goretzka, Alexander Pavlovic. And then in the striking force, we have Luis Diaz, who is on top form, Michael Olise, Leonard Karl, and Harry Kane finishing up in the fast and attacking side.
So two youngsters in the Bayern lineup, George. Tom Bischoff playing in the left-back position. He's a midfielder, but he performed so well in the left-back position, young Tom Bischoff, who signed from Hoffenheim. And, of course, the whiz-kid, Bayern's new whiz-kid, Leonard Karl, on the right wing for the injured Serge Gnabry, who's not in the squad today. So the wingers, Leonard Karl and Diaz with Kane and Olise combining. Okay, let's take a look at the visitors. Freiburg, in goal, Noah Atubulo, the German-Nigerian. The back three, Philipp Treu, Matthias Ginter, Max Rosenfelder and Jordi Makengo. He is French-Congolese. In midfield, they've got Eggestein and Suzuki. The wingers are Jan-Niklas Beste and Scherhand. Manzambi, the Swiss midfielder, his parents from Angola and DOC. Manzambi playing just behind the lone striker, Lucas Höhler. So I wonder what the result will be in the end. George, it can only be a very comfortable home win for Bayern. What do you think?
One may predict, Alexander, especially after, on top on form with their players in the international break. We're expecting magic from Bayern's side, but who knows? Football has a way it tells its story, and maybe Freiburg may give them a run for their money.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Now, the referee today is 35-year-old FIFA referee Sven Jablonski from Bremen. This is 114th Bundesliga match, so plenty of experience. Luis Diaz in the lineup, and he scored for Colombia against Australia in the friendly in midweek. And let's see what he can do today after coming back from international duty. Bayern playing from right to left in their usual red strip with a bit of white on the chests. And Manuel Neuer, who was a doubt before the game because he had a stomach infection, but he's back between the posts now and he bowls the ball out. And Bayern trying to build from the back as they do. Jonathan Tah and Dayo Opamecano, the two central defenders who've combined really well. But here come Freiburg. This is Beste. Beste tries to play the ball in, but good defending. But it's Beste whose shot just whistles past the post. Jan-Niklas Beste came from Benfica Lisbon, started off his career at Werder Bremen and then Heidenheim, had a short spell in Lisbon for Benfica, and he's certainly troubling the Bayern defence at the moment. But of course, we've hardly had a minute here. Good 1-2. First chance going to Bayern, going to Freiburg, of course, but they've won a corner. It's going to be taken over on that far side. That's the Freiburg left. The ball bouncing around in the penalty area. Bayern struggling to get it away. Surely now the ball played all the way back by Mansambi to Noah Atobolu, who is, as we told you, of Nigerian heritage, but he plays for the Germany under-21s, and he's been called up to the Germany squad a couple of times, but is yet to win his first cap. Atobolu, born in Freiburg, of Nigerian parents, and slowly trying to build from the back. Freiburg. Here's Atobolu, turned into one of the best goalkeepers in the Bundesliga in the course of the seasons.
And of course, Alex, quite notable is their defensive rock, that is Freiburg defensive rock, Matthias Ginter, recently bringing leadership and calmness at the back against Bayern side. Yeah.
Ginter, so experienced. Here is Luis Diaz, the Colombian. Diaz is making the headlines because Bayern's next big game is in the Champions League on Wednesday against Arsenal, and Luis Diaz has been suspended for 3 games. Because of his foul on Hakimi in that game in Paris against Paris Saint-Germain. Bayern thought he'd get a 1-game ban, but UEFA said no, it was too dangerous a challenge, and they've given him a 3-game ban, so that's a big loss for Bayern. But
and also to mention, Alex, that you mentioned Hakimi, he emerged as the Africa's Footballer of the Year, which was quite notable, even amidst the injury.
Right. And he'll be out for a long time, I'm afraid, Hakimi. But Arsenal, their opponents in the Champions League, they'll be without the Brazilian Gabriel. And that, of course, is a big blow for Arsenal. Gabriel, one of the best defenders of the Premier League. Leonard Carl on the wing there, doing brilliant things. Leonard Carl is 17 years old, and we've spoken about him quite often this season. He is really good, and he's been in the limelight a lot. And Uli Hoeneß, the honorary president of Bayern Munich, he said, keep calm, keep calm. He's only had a few games, Leonard Carl, and you're already talking about him as if he's Lionel Messi. Yeah? And so he wants him to...
One can only imagine because of the age, Alex, and he's so impressive at the back.
Yeah, opportunity for Freiburg. Oh, and it comes off. It was offside, though. It was offside. What an opportunity for Freiburg. Suddenly, I think it was Rosenfelder, found himself behind the Bayern defence. Max Rosenfelder lifted it over the goal, but it would have been offside.
Definitely, Upamecano had set up the offside trap.
I've noticed this quite often, George, that when Bayern start a game, it's usually a very slow start. They usually make mistakes. I remember 2 weeks ago, Union Berlin were very strong in the opening minutes. They scored a goal which was disallowed for a fractional offside decision. And then a few minutes later, they scored another goal by Duki. And Bayern really waking up, say, after 15 minutes or 20 minutes. So if you want to score against Bayern, you better do it early.
Early enough, yeah.
Early enough, quickly enough, because when the monster awakes, they are difficult to stop.
Some people call them serial winners in the Bundesliga.
Here come Bayern. Tom Bischoff, the player in the left-back position. He's not a left-back, he's a midfield player, but he's done very well. Here's Harry Kane dropping deep. Long ball out to the wing. Good control by Leonard Carl, who's going to be running up and down that right wing because Serge Gnabry, of course, is injured, and the ball rose into touch there. Picked up.
But Alex, pretty much a lot of, reorganization in the lineup by Vincent Kompany, and then players not playing their usual positions, like Olise.
Olise, you're right. Olise playing just behind Harry Kane in the middle, and he usually plays on the wing, on the left wing, and Leonard Carl's been on the right wing. I'm sorry, Leonard Carl's playing there at the moment, and Olise shifted to the middle of the midfield just behind Harry Kane, and Stanisic moved from the left-back position to the right-back position. As you say, George, plenty of changes, but I think this Bayern side are strong enough to support this, to come through this. Leimer, who's had a brilliant season till now, Konrad Leimer, the Austrian, he's on the bench, as is, as you probably noticed, Joshua Kimmich, the Bayern captain. He's not quite fit, he's on the bench too. And so is Nicholas Jackson, the Senegalese striker, and a young Nigerian called Wisdom Mike. He's only 17. We'll be keeping an eye on him, and hopefully he'll come on in the course of the afternoon here. Guerrero, Boe, Ito, the Japanese left back, he's making a comeback eventually after being out for a very long time through injury. Ito, the man who signed from Stuttgart. All these players on the bench, and Bayern trying to build over on that far side.
Pretty happy that you've mentioned Nigeria, and to all our listeners in Ray Power FM, a very warm welcome, and of course we appreciate your participation in this Bundesliga live commentary. And of course our commiseration to Nigeria. They lost to DRC in the World Cup qualifiers, but of course congratulations to Wisdom. We are hoping that he gets a chance to play.
Absolutely, he's on the bench, and he's Wisdom Mike has had one game for Bayern Munich, and yes, we all felt sorry that Nigeria didn't make it, but we're with you. But they've got so many good strikers, you just wonder what happened. And to guard on penalties is, of course, very painful. But as George said, congratulations to DOC and to Ghana, the Ivory Coast, Senegal, all looking forward to participation in the World Cup. Algeria, Cape Verde, Egypt, Morocco, South Africa, plenty of teams from the African continent, and of course DR Congo in the playoffs in what promises to be very exciting World Cup. This is Manzambi, the Swiss player, but he's forced to play all the way back to Noah Atobulu, the goalkeeper of Freiburg, and that's a very good one too, Noah Atobulu. Born in Germany, born in Freiburg, parents originally from Nigeria, and he joined Freiburg's youth academy as a child and has now become the club's first choice goalkeeper. Excellent keeper, Noah Atobulu.
And Alex, Freiburg really, countering attack, and they're gaining momentum now, and they've had at least two chances.
Yeah, already.
Clear chances already.
Yeah. Manzambi's going to take the throw. Over on that far side, that's the Freiburg left. Plenty of Bayern players in the box. Actually, everybody's in the box apart from Luis Diaz. Freiburg, if they want to score, George, they've got to do it now when they're still fresh, because the moment they start tiring, Bayern Munich will eat them.
Definitely, they will be roasted.
Absolutely. Long ball forward. There is, of course, Stanisic helping out, and it's a throw-in to be taken by Tom Bischoff, the youngster who joined Bayern from Hoffenheim. A lot of people questioned his decision to come to Bayern, but he's established himself, and he's forcing his way into the Bayern side, as we see Kim and Ito and Kimmich on the bench there. Plenty of strong players.
What could be the reason of Kimmich being on bench today, Alex?
I think he injured himself in that game against Luxembourg. He made the lineup when they played Slovakia, Germany winning 6-0, by the way, qualifying for the World Cup there. He wasn't quite fit, so I think Vincent Kompany wants to rest him for the big game against Arsenal in the Champions League in midweek. But we might see him come on if things aren't working out for Bayern, but I think it was wise to rest him today. Freiburg doing very well and troubling the Bayern defence once more. That's amazing. And this is Scherhamd, the player who joined from Hertha Berlin. Good player, and he's forced his way into the side here, and we'll just have to wait and see what this corner creates for Freiburg. Derry Scherhamd is going to take the corner himself. In it comes, it's a high one, but it's headed away by Upamecano. Rosenfelder, though, heads it down, picked up by Suzuki, the Japanese player. Tackled, though, by Tom Bischoff, and I think they've won a corner. Indeed, they have.
They have, indeed.
Well done, Freiburg. I can't believe my eyes, because they have been creating everything. I don't think Noah Tabulu's had to make one save yet, but it's early. It's early days. It's just 11 minutes into the game here at the Allianz Arena in Munich. Match day 11 of the Bundesliga, coming to you from DW Radio as usual. Corner coming from the right-hand side. Manzambi and Upamecano. Little push. Olise joining in. Manzambi not appreciating the physicality of the Bayern defenders. Olise helping out there, and Jonathan Tah. And it's going to be Jan-Niklas Bester, the man who joined from Benfica Lisbon, with the corner. It's a flat one. It's played across. Opportunity here. And
it is a goal.
Have taken the lead, would you believe? And it is. I think it's that man, Suzuki, the Japanese player. And that, you could see that coming, George. We could see that coming.
It was in the offing, Alex, no doubt about it.
That is amazing. That is amazing. They take the lead here, Little Freiburg, 1-0. And Manuel Neuer, who's sporting a moustache, I've not seen him ever with a moustache. 1-0 there, Suzuki, the Japanese player. That's his second Bundesliga goal. Good work by Freiburg. The team from the Black Forest take a surprise lead here at the Allianz Arena. I'll tell you what, George, that goal's going to wake Bayern Munich up.
Much definitely, Alex, and one would have expected Upamecano, fresh from representing France, his defensive improvements this season to help, but it couldn't. There was no way he was going to help that goal.
That is something. And you see now the 12 minutes are over, George, and this is why the supporters are now beginning to sing, because their little protest, their time of protest is over. Protesting about sharpened security in the Bundesliga stadiums. They don't like that idea of ID cards and personalised tickets, and that's why the first 12 minutes all over Germany, the fans were silent, but 12 minutes are up, and this is why they can...
it couldn't have come at a better time.
It couldn't have come at a better time, exactly. And Bayern Munich need their supporters, because they're a goal to nil down, because Suzuki, the Japanese midfielder, has scored to put Freiburg, the team from the Black Forest, 1-0 up here at the Allianz Arena, would you believe? Good tackle. This is Lukas Höhler, but Stanisic coming across, tries to play the ball upfield. Bayern Munich not yet clicking, George. They're not yet in the game at all, are they?
The formula is not working. I think they have to go to the drawing board or just reorganize quickly. Well, it's just 12 minutes, though.
You know that Vincent Kompany said he is still angry about that 2-2 draw at Union Berlin 2 weeks ago. That's the first time that Bayern dropped any points this season in the Bundesliga. Kompany not happy that his side could only draw 2-2 against Union Berlin, and maybe it's a little bit of a difficult period in the season for Bayern. I don't want to use the word crisis, because how can you speak about a crisis when the team has gone 16, 17 games unbeaten, and they're 1-0 down here against Freiburg. Freiburg, the team from the Black Forest, are in 10th position. They're also playing in Europe, in the Europa League. 3 wins and a draw in the Europa League for Freiburg. And they're a very special club, Freiburg. They've had only 5 head coaches at Freiburg since 1991. You may remember Christian Streich, the legendary coach, 10 years in charge of Freiburg. A special club, Freiburg, with a very small budget. And they've been members of the Bundesliga for quite some time now.
Yeah, and also to mention, Alex, there are other matches ongoing. We have Heidenheim facing Gladbach, and the game is still 0-0. Dortmund, Stuttgart 0-0. Of course, Wolfsburg, Hamburg SV. Still 0-0. Leverkusen has just scored a goal.
Leverkusen taking the lead there against Wolfsburg. Now, Wolfsburg fell to a 6th defeat in 7 Bundesliga games when they lost to Bremen 2 weeks ago, and that defeat sadly cost head coach Paul Simonis his job. The Dutchman having to leave there. Wolfsburg just a point outside the relegation zone. Leverkusen proud to go a record 798 days without a Bundesliga away defeat, which is something. 798 days without an away defeat for Leverkusen, and they are doing very well. They're 1-0 up.
Sitting pretty at the second position now, Alex.
Oh, that.
So to mention.
Yeah. Jonas Hoffmann, the scorer there. And, yeah, it's the away side too. They're 1-0 up, and the away side is Freiburg. What is going to happen here? Stay tuned. DW Radio bringing you all the action from the Bundesliga, and we keep an eye on all the African players too. And in that game we were just talking about, Wolfsburg against Leverkusen, quite a few players of African descent involved in the Wolfsburg squad. Is Saul Kumbedi, he's French Congolese. And would you believe?
That could be another goal.
Would you believe? Mansambi has made it 2-0. Mansambi, Johan Mansambi, 2-0 for Freiburg.
What is happening,
What's
Alex?
going on? Vincent Kompany looking at the monitor in disbelief. Freiburg are 2-0 up here. Mansambi.
What is happening, Alice?
And he's certainly enjoying that goal. Look at him celebrate, Mansambi. Great stuff. It was a good corner by Bester. Mansambi rising higher than all the Bayern Munich defenders, and his header beating Manuel Neuer. Do you think the keeper was at fault there, George?
Could be, because he miscalculated.
It seemed to sail through his outstretched arms, not Manuel Neuer.
Just in between his outstretched arms.
Bayern conceding 2 goals, would you believe? Again, because 2 weeks ago in that 2-2 draw in Union Berlin, they conceded 2 goals too.
Unbelievable.
And Julian Schuster, who is the coach, he's a former Freiburg player, certainly enjoying the moment and telling his players to calm down. Freiburg are 2-0 up, George. Who would have seen that coming?
You expected Bayern to frighten.
I said Bayern are going to really demolish Freiburg.
So it's Freiburg frying Bayern.
Freiburg frying Bayern indeed. What an amazing scoreline. But of course it's just 19 minutes gone here.
Of course, and we're talking about Bayern.
And will the Bayern Munich Dragons suddenly wake from its slumber, or will they struggle to come back into this game? Manuel Neuer didn't look very good at that, just conceding that second goal.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that he battled through a stomach bug, but trained well and was expected to be, formidable at the back, as normal or as usual.
Quite amazing scoreline. Bayern Munich 0, Freiburg 2, and I bet the other teams, Dortmund and Leipzig, they might be motivated tremendously, because the distance to Bayern, well, it's a healthy 6 to 7 points, but it's not insurmountable, shall we say. I was just telling you about the African players in the Wolfsburg and Leverkusen squad. Saul Kumbendi, he's French Congolese on loan from Lyon. Then Wolfsburg have got Mathis Angeli, he's Martiniquais and Malagasy descent. Moa Moura, he's Algerian, and David Odugu, he's a German-Nigerian defender, a youngster coming through the ranks there, and Maurice Jens, of course, a Nigerian father and a German mother. So Wolfsburg with plenty of players of African descent, as Leverkusen, they've got quite a few too. Anis Poko is a new signing. He's a Dutch Ghanaian. Christian Kofane, he's Cameroonian, and he's been making a name for himself in the Bundesliga for Leverkusen. Then, of course, Edmund Tapsoba, he's from Burkina Faso. He is, of course, a veteran for Leverkusen at the moment, Tapsoba. Ibrahim Matza, he's a new signing from Hertha Berlin. He's Algerian. Then Nathan Teller, he's English-Nigerian. Timothy Menza, he's Dutch-Ghanaian. And then there's a French-Moroccan called Elias Ben Seguir. He joined from Monaco in Ligue 1, and a young German Nigerian called Ken Izekor. An opportunity here for Bayern, but the ball sails over the crossbar. And not to forget, Leverkusen have also got Axel Tapé. He's a French Ivorian and he signed from Paris Saint-Germain. And it's Leverkusen 1-0 up at Wolfsburg, George.
Definitely.
Another big game, of course, is Borussia Dortmund against Stuttgart. So expect plenty of goals there, because the Dortmund-Stuttgart fixture over the years in the Bundesliga has produced 373 goals, would you believe? Over the years, of course. Both these teams 7 points behind Bayern, and Dortmund, though, not in very good form. Opportunity here for Bayern, and Karl has pulled the goal
The youngster Karl.
Lennart Karl suddenly unmarked in the penalty area, and Lennart Karl reduces the arrears and scores for Bayern Munich. And this guy, lots of people, George, are saying he should be going with the Germany squad to the World Cup in the US and Canada and Mexico. Some saying it's too early, but if he continues...
But he's demonstrating that he's ready, Alex.
Absolutely. He started for the Germany under-21s in the international break. It was Olize's brilliant footwork. He found Karl, and Karl planted the ball beyond Noah Atabulu. What a game we've got on our hands here, George.
It might go down in a very interesting fashion. Of course, Karl scoring to cut Freiburg's lead. Freiburg still leading 2-1.
Goodness me, what a game. 2-1 Freiburg leading, but Lennart Karl pulling a goal back here. And he's one to keep an eye on. Playing because of the injury to Serge Gnabry. But he certainly deserves his place in the Bayern side.
Definitely. And the Allianz Arena erupts as Bayern now look fired up to chase an equalizer in this intense contest, Alex.
Mansambi, the man who scored the second goal for Freiburg, with the throw in there for the team from the Black Forest, playing all in black, incidentally. Mansambi plays the ball across his back to the Swiss international. He slips there, but he gets up onto his feet very quickly. It's a good cross, and out comes Neuer and grabs the ball this time and bowls it out, and here come Bayern. Ball played over, but it goes into touch there.
Yeah, Alex, Freiburg defense will need to stay sharp.
Very
but the
sharp.
momentum is definitely shifting as Bayern is seemingly pushing forward.
Yeah.
With renewed urgency, I should say.
So Suzuki and Mansambi, the scorers here, and Lennart Karl pulling a goal back for Bayern. It's match day 11 of the Bundesliga, and as George told you, there was a game last night between Mainz and Hoffenheim. 1-1 there, the final result. Hoffenheim in 6th at the moment, and Mainz in a very dangerous position, just one place off the bottom, on the same amount of, actually 2 points ahead of bottom club Heidenheim. So it's going to be a difficult season for Mainz. But here at the Allianz Arena, we just have to wait and see what Freiburg are made of, because they're 2-1 up, would you believe?
2-1 up, and the atmosphere is thick at the Allianz Arena. Will Bayern's experience and firepower be enough to claw back into this game? Or are we seeing Freiburg continue to defy expectations? Alex expected them to be fried.
Yeah.
And they're frying Bayern right now.
Absolutely. Good work by Mansambi over that left wing. Mansambi gets in the penalty area. Mansambi tried to shoot, delayed his shot maybe for a fraction too long. And it's good to see Leverkusen in second place, George.
It's really good to see them at the second place. They've been struggling after the exodus movement of their players to other
they
clubs.
Lost 8 players, Leverkusen. 8 players of that great side that won the double 2 seasons ago. And the leading at the Wolves, and that's why Leverkusen at the moment are in second. They are 5 points as it stands behind Bayern Munich. And Bayern Munich are 2-1 down here. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Plenty of players of African descent, of course, in the Bayern Munich squad. We told you about Wisdom Mike. He's only 16. He's a German Nigerian. Nicholas Jackson, he's Senegalese, of course, the man who joined from Chelsea. Then we've got Sacha Boé. He's French Cameroonian. Alphonso Davies, slowly recovering from his injury, Canadian-born in Ghana to Liberian parents. Then, of course, Upamecano, he's French Guinea-Bissau origin. Serge Gnabry, he's German Ivorian. And, of course, Jamal Musiala, who's been out for a very long time. He's German Nigerian. And Michael Olise is proud to talk about the 4 countries that he stems from: France, Algeria, Nigeria and Britain. And he's, of course, chosen France to represent. And a youngster in the Bayern Munich squad, we may keep an eye on him. His name is Cassiano Chiala. He's a Germany youth international. He's eligible to represent Angola internationally through his parents. But he's captained the Germany under-16 team there. Cassiano Chiala, Angolan German there, coming through the ranks. And if he's anything like Leonard Karl, he'll certainly be one to keep an eye on.
Definitely. Harry Kane, back from the international break, expected to, of course, continue with his riding wave of form.
We've not seen Harry Kane, have we?
Not pretty much, Alex, as we should have expected.
Where is he? I can't see him. Oh, there he is. Harry Kane.
Tucked somewhere.
Tucked up in the middle there. 2 players trying to keep an eye on him. 13 goals, Bundesliga goals this season, Harry Kane. Scored twice for England against Albania in the World Cup qualifiers. Great record, England there. They won all their games and they didn't concede 1 goal. That is some record. This is Upamecano. Bayern 2-1 down. The ball played into the penalty area. It's picked up by Pavlovic. Pavlovic finds Tar. Tar lays the ball out to Upamecano. Good football this by Bayern. Over on that far side is Leonard Karl, who's such a small player, but all the more skillful for his lack of height. He's on that far side is Stanisic. Stanisic, the right back today, plays it flat into the penalty area, and it's cleared by Suzuki. It's picked up once more by Bayern Munich, by Upamecano. He finds Olise teasing the defenders over on that far side. The ball played into touch, though, and it's a throw-in to Bayern Munich. So here come Bayern once more. Olise, I think they're beginning to turn on the style there, Bayern.
Of course, clearly mounting intense pressure, Alex, as we can see.
Absolutely. Manzambi's having a really good game, I think. This is Sherhunt over that far side. But Bayern pick it up. Good tackle by Manzambi. He's been brilliant, the man who scored Freiburg's 2nd goal. Eggestein plays the ball downfield for Niklas Bester to chase, but there's Jonathan Tah.
Yeah, easy for him.
Very easy. Finds Bischoff, the left back. Here come Bayern Munich. This is, I think, they're beginning to get into this game really well now.
Yeah, pretty much owning and dominating the possession and pushing more players into the attacking positions.
What do you think Freiburg should do now? Should they start just concentrating on defence, or should they try and pinch a 3rd goal?
I think this is a moment of counter-attacking. They should counter-attack for sure. Because if they were to try and defend Bayern with their brilliance, of course, and Kane with his intelligent positioning, they could, I mean, things may turn against them again.
Kane is usually all over the place. He's assumed this playmaker role, hasn't he? He helps out of the back, and then he comes up with these long passes out of defence. Plenty of journalists in Germany saying that Kane has reinvented the centre-forward's position because he's everywhere and he helps in defence a lot.
Yeah, so strategic in positioning.
Yeah. Manuel Neuer. Slightly at fault for Freiburg's 2nd goal. Yes, you heard right, 2nd goal, because they're 2-1 up here at the Allianz Arena on match day 11 of the Football Bundesliga.
Of course, that is very true. And if you're listening to us from our YouTube channel, that is DW Africa, very warm welcome. Bayern versus Freiburg. Freiburg frying Bayern. 2-1 is the score.
Amazing. And Leverkusen, George, they've added a 2nd goal. Edmund Tapsoba, the man from Burkina Faso, who's made it Wolfsburg 0, Leverkusen 2. So Jonas Hofmann and Edmund Tapsoba, the goal scorers there for Leverkusen. And they remain hot on Bayern's heels because they're only 5 points behind them, as the table says.
5 points adrift here.
But here come Bayern. This is Luis Diaz. Will he still be tired from his exertions in midweek for his country, Colombia? But good defending there by Freiburg. Long ball downfield for Jan-Niklas Bester, but two Bayern players chasing him down. Tom Bischoff and Jonathan Tah there doing very well. And Bayern beginning to press and to dominate. Beautiful long ball there out of defence. Finds Stanisic. This is Olise, Michael Olise.
He plays beautiful football.
Beautiful
Alex.
football. But the move breaks down and is picked up by Freiburg. And they're certainly looking confident, Freiburg, when they go forward. This isn't like not like the teams who usually come here who just lay down to be slaughtered. Freiburg giving as good as they can, as they're receiving. Very good work by Freiburg till now. Olise with a long ball forward, trying to pick out Kane. And Manzambi, who is, for me, the man of the match till now, Johan Manzambi. He's been all over the place.
The boy is overworking himself.
Yeah.
And that is pretty impressive.
Very impressive, but he's got a long time to go yet, because just 15 minutes of normal time remaining in the first half, and then there's the whole of the second half. So they've just got to be careful, because teams tend to tire in the later stages of the game against Bayern Munich. This is where they can really be dangerous. Leonard Carl plays the ball back to Upamecano, who's in the centre circle. Upamecano, good ball to his right, finds Stanisic, the right back. Plenty of space to come forward. Josef Stanisic finds Upamecano. Upamecano on the ball, tries to play it forward, but the move breaks down as Freiburg pick it up. But good work there by Freiburg, tussling for possession. They win it, they're in the centre circle. That's a foul by Harry Kane on Scherhant, the man who joined from Hertha Berlin. And little trip by Harry Kane. Plenty of players of African descent in the Freiburg squad. That is, they're not all on the pitch. Noah Atobulu, he's German-Nigerian, I've told you about him. In their squad, they've got Bruno Okpus. He's Swiss-Nigerian, born in Switzerland, and he's a Switzerland under-21 central defender. Made his first Bundesliga appearance on match day one, Bruno Okpus. Then, of course, on the pitch, we've got Jordi Makengo. He's French-Congolese. Came to Freiburg from Auxerre, born in Saint-Denis in Paris, and often plays for Christian Günther, the Freiburg captain, who is, of course, a legend at Freiburg. 441 games for Freiburg, Christian Günther, but Jordi Makengo seems to be the man for the future, and he's playing today. Then, of course, they've got Daniel Kofi Kyeré, he's Ghanaian, and a new player called Syriac Irie. He's from Burkina Faso. He's had a spot of bother with malaria. He's been out of the training sessions because of malaria, but he's one to look after. Syriac Irie. And Junior Adamu, I'm surprised he didn't start today. He's an Austrian-Nigerian, born in Nigeria, 9 caps for Austria, joined from Salzburg. His sister, incidentally, Junior Adamu, is also a professional footballer. And then we've spoken a lot about Johan Manzambi, who for me has been the man of the match till now. He's Swiss, his parents are from Angola and the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the coaching staff having a word there with Manzambi. Let's hope he's not injured, because he's been, for me, the best player on the pitch till now.
Yeah, definitely. And Freiburg coach Julian Schuster said against Bayern there can be opportunities, Alex, as of course Union Berlin, who last played against Bayern.
2 goals.
2 goals, and of course he said that they need to find a good balance while sometimes being nasty and aggressive.
Great work down that side by Freiburg. Suzuki, and with a name like that, he's got to be fast. But
he should be fast.
That's a terrible, terrible sentence. I said, please forget it quickly.
Yeah.
Suzuki, 2 Bundesliga goals, bringing down Harry Kane. Ball picked up by Bayern. This is Goretzka. Plenty of people saying Goretzka's time at Bayern Munich slowly coming to an end because of the youngsters coming through the ranks. Tom Bischoff is a candidate for central midfield. Leonard Carl also coming through strongly. So Goretzka, plenty of people saying a wonderful servant for Bayern, but they don't expect him to be at Bayern next season. Leon Goretzka. So, still no goals in that other big game between Borussia Dortmund and Stuttgart. And would you believe it, George? Leverkusen now 3-0 up in Wolfsburg. Malek Tillman, the scorer there.
They're back in business.
Back in business. And strangely enough, Borussia Dortmund at this minute, they take the lead against Stuttgart. And it's Emre Can scoring there for Borussia Dortmund. So things certainly happening behind Bayern, because Dortmund are now second. They've overtaken Leverkusen.
Making it interesting.
Very interesting. But tough times for Wolfsburg. 3-0 down on their own pitch against Leverkusen. The Wolves have got to really be careful not to be dragged down. It's been a very difficult start to the season.
Yeah, and if you look at the table as you were speaking about it, Alex, it's only 1 point that separates the four teams. Dortmund 1 point ahead of Leverkusen. RB Leipzig 1 point behind Leverkusen. So it's pretty interesting.
In my view, Leipzig are the strongest of the challengers, Bayern Munich challengers. Leipzig, very strong side. Here's Atubulu, Noah Atubulu. Free kick, a goal kick it is. He's certainly taking his time, he's in the D. Bayern, let me keep reminding you, because it's so surprising, the 2-1 down against Little Freiburg. I don't want to be disrespectful when I say Little Freiburg, but they are a smaller club, and they've been doing very well, of course, over the years in the Bundesliga. And as we told you, just 5 coaches since 1991. But I know of a Bundesliga club who's even better, namely Heidenheim. They've just had Frank Schmidt for the past 16 or 17 years in charge, which is some record.
But it shows the confidence the club owners have
in this guy, yeah. Frank Schmidt in charge of Heidenheim. Heidenheim, though, in trouble. They are right at the bottom of the Bundesliga table. This is their 3rd successive season in the Bundesliga. They're drawing at the moment 0-0 with Borussia Mönchengladbach. And Heidenheim went into the international break bottom of the table, winless in 6 competitive games. Heidenheim, just 1 league win all season, and Frank Schmidt's team sit 2 points adrift of safety. And opportunity here for Freiburg. Good effort there by Suzuki. He's dangerous, George.
He's showing he's got the drive and precision, Alex.
What an effort.
When he's on the ball, he's so fast on the lane, leaving opponents eating his dust. That could have been a goal, actually.
It was a brilliant shot. He tried to curl it out of the reach of Manuel Neuer. Strong, fast, young Japanese player in the Bundesliga. And, of course, Freiburg have lost or had to sell another very good Japanese player. His name is Doan, and he's joined Eintracht Frankfurt for quite a lot of money, and that's the philosophy at Freiburg. They sell their good players for good money, and are very good at replacing them by other good players. The ball played back to Atubulu. His team are 2-1 up, Freiburg at the Allianz Arena, and to be quite honest, George, the Bayern Munich supporters not too noisy at the moment.
It's not. They know that pressure is on their side. They have to at least equalize before they head to the break.
Yeah. And
perhaps maybe we may be seeing a number of changes in the lineup.
Possibly Kimmich will be risked. The ball given away there.
Oh!
That certainly was a foul by Pavlovic.
That was a very hard tackle.
On yellow carded there, Alexander Pavlovic, for a foul on I think it was Jan-Niklas Beste. He tripped him, and he deserved his yellow card there. Yeah, he certainly stepped on his foot. Not really sure if this is new, George. Now, you've been following football for a long time.
Yeah.
This stepping on the opposition player's foot, is this something new?
It's not new, and then sometimes you look at it with the all due unfairness, and I think as they are trying to review a number of football rules, they should also look into that.
Yeah, I think it's very dangerous.
It's super dangerous.
Yeah. And I see it more and more these days, stepping on the opposition's foot or on his Achilles heel, pulling the boot down the Achilles heel on the player.
Very dangerous.
Very dangerous, and I think it's something that's crept into the game slowly. Still no goals between Hamburg and Augsburg. Just one win for Augsburg this term, would you believe? Sandro Wagner's side struggling. 3 defeats in their last 4 games. They're outside the relegation zone just on goal difference. Augsburg, they've won only once. Hamburg stopped the 3-game losing run in the Bundesliga with that 1-1 equalise, 1-1 draw against Borussia Dortmund 2 weeks ago, and it was Ransford Yeboah Königsdorfer who got the stoppage time equaliser at home to Dortmund 2 weeks ago. And he's one of many African players, or players of African descent, in the Hamburg side. As the move breaks down, that's picked up by Michael Olise. He finds Harry Kane, who's had a quiet game. Here's Harry Kane, plays the ball across. What a chance. No Artubulu was there, and so was Matthias Ginter, the veteran defender there, trying to keep out Bayern. Just a few minutes till the half-time whistle. Kane doing well, playing the ball across and trying to pick out.
Yeah, but a player I've seen struggling right now, Alex, is Luis Diaz. He looks like he's trying to find his rhythm.
Luis Diaz, of course, played for Colombia against Australia in midweek and had to come all the way back. It must be exhausting for some of these players who play in such distant countries. Yeah, I think he's just tired, Luis Diaz, and I think he'll come off in the second half. But we just wonder who can be brought on for him. Let's
perhaps Wisdom, the youngster.
Maybe Wisdom Mike, maybe, but he's very inexperienced, of course. Possibly Nicholas Jackson, he's more experienced. Otherwise, I don't see too many possibilities for Bayern up front if they were to take Luis Diaz off. But of course, he doesn't have to be fit, because he's suspended for that game against Arsenal, and so he can make him play for the whole 90 minutes today, even though he looks very tired. Here come Bayern over on that far side. Michael Olise, the man who joined from Crystal Palace, he finds Upamecano. That is Pavlovic on the yellow card there. The ball played across to Leonard Karl, who pulled the goal back for Bayern. Here come Bayern. This is Upamecano just outside the penalty area. Upamecano on the ball, tries to lift it into the box, but Freiburg looking at ease. They don't look panicky, or when put under pressure, they look quite good. This is Pavlovic. Pavlovic lays the ball across. Here come Bayern. Good 1-2, good 1-2. Stanisic joining in there. Stanisic lays the ball to his right to Michael Olise. Olise seems to have dropped back onto the right wing, George. He's not playing just behind Harry Kane.
I think it's his familiar position, actually.
Exactly, that's the position that he excels in.
Yeah, and I like this young man. Of course, he's always like a magician, many have said.
Yeah.
One moment he's barely there, and the next he's pulling a stunning assist out of a thin opportunity.
And what an unusual signing to make, Michael Olise. He came from Crystal Palace, a smaller club in the Premier League, but they produce very good players. And Michael Olise was chosen, I think, by Thomas Tuchel, who knew him from his time in the Premier League, and he told Bayern to go for Michael Olise, and what a signing it was! What a signing it was! One of the best players in the Bundesliga he's turned out to be, Michael Olise, the French international. So, Dortmund looking good against Stuttgart, but I think that are now 2-0 up, Borussia Dortmund. 2-0 up. Maximilian Bayer with a goal just before half-time. Dortmund 2, Stuttgart 0. Still no goals between Heidenheim and Mönchengladbach, and Augsburg against Hamburg. Just one win for Augsburg. That is tough.
3 minutes of added time in this first half. And much appreciation to all our fans listening to us through our partner stations. That is Rai Power from Nigeria, and of course all the other partner stations across the continent. You can also follow this live football commentary Bundesliga, Bayern Munich versus Freiburg on our YouTube page. That is DW Africa.
Here's Luis Diaz this is. Luis Diaz. Pays the ball back to Tom Bischoff. Bischoff, long ball into the penalty area. This is Olise. Olise tries to curl it, but plenty of Freiburg bodies getting in between there. And Jan-Niklas Bester plays it into touch there. Freiburg with a 2-1 lead. They want to take that into half-time. And it has been a very unusual game because to see Bayern... Well,
I would have expected, actually.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they're struggling, but they've not been in command as we expect them to be usually. But, of course, there's sure to be a spell in the season where Bayern begin to tire. Here's Jonathan Tah. He plays the ball out to Alexander Pavlovic, who's become a Germany international. Pavlovic on the ball. He's got a chance to shoot. Oh! Atabulu. Good stop by Atabulu. He took no risk there. He punched the ball away. But here come Bayern once more. This is Lennart Karl on the edge of the penalty area. Finds Olise. Olise! Oh, what a strong goal. What a strong effort, Olise.
Told you, Alex.
Just before half-time.
This boy is a magician.
2-2 Bayern coming back from being 2-0 down. And Olise... Now that goal was, shall we say, not on the horizon, not completely expected, but I think Freiburg allowing Lennart Karl too much space, and then Olise rolling into the space provided there by Freiburg.
Of course, it's a blend of flair, creativity, and of course his clinical precision, Alex. He saw that.
I think the goalkeeper was unsighted for a few seconds, though, Atabulu. And Olise plants the ball into the back of it. Here they come once more. This is Olise. They want the lead before half-time, Bayern Munich, would they believe. But it's picked up by Freiburg. They've got to really watch it now, Freiburg. They're hoping for that half-time whistle. I can tell you that. They were 2-0 up. It's 2-2 now. And here's Luis Diaz. Plays the ball across to Bischoff. Bischoff finds Pavlovic. Just a few seconds remaining in this first half. Lennart Karl plays the ball across. Bayern want to take the lead. Good effort there by Lennart Karl. Surely they'll have saved themselves.
If you rattle a snake, Alex, they say if you rattle a snake, be sure to be beaten by it.
Exactly.
And that is what Bayern is doing to Freiburg now.
There goes the half-time whistle. Well, it's been a very interesting first half. Freiburg taking the lead, would you believe, through Suzuki and through Mansamba, and then Bayern coming back with goals by Lennart Karl, the youngster, and Michael Olise in added time. It's 2-2 here at the Allianz Arena. What a game, George.
Definitely, it is impressive. We thought that, of course, it was unexpected for Freiburg to, maintain the leadership. But, of course, it's a 2-2 draw. And after that, of course, we know that there was an international break. And after the intensity of the international break, European football leagues have roared back to life. While some teams are grappling with injuries, others have welcomed key players returning to full fitness, as we are seeing in this particular match, Bayern versus Freiburg. But before diving back into how the ongoing qualifications have impacted top European clubs, including Bundesliga, let's take a moment to review the much-anticipated 2026 FIFA World Cup. Well, to begin with, the 2026 FIFA World Cup draw ceremony is set for Friday, December 5th, 2025, at the iconic John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts in Washington, D.C. The event kicks off at 12 noon Eastern Time or 1700 GMT. So how does the draw format and pots look like? The expanded tournament features 48 teams divided into 4 pots of 12 based on FIFA World Ranking released this November. Now, each World Cup group will consist of 1 team from each pot. Pot 1 includes 3 host nations, that is the USA, Canada, and Mexico, along with 9 highest ranked qualified countries. Now, to keep things competitive and diverse, teams from the same confederation will generally be kept apart in group stage, except in UEFA's case, where multiple groups will feature 2 European sides due to the continent's large allocation. Pot 1's expected lineup features teams like the USA, Canada, Mexico, Spain, Argentina, France, England, Portugal, Netherlands, Belgium, and Germany. The remaining teams include those from European playoffs, and intercontinental playoffs will be slotted on or into Pot 4. Now, so here is the European playoffs context. Now, 16 European teams are vying in playoffs for 4 final World Cup spots. The contenders include 12 group runner-up and 4 top-ranked Nations League teams, that is Slovakia, Kosovo, Denmark, Ukraine, Turkey, Ireland, Poland, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Italy, Wales, Albania, Czechia, Romania, Sweden, Northern Ireland and North Macedonia. The playoffs take center stage in March 2026 and will be knockout matches played as one-offs. Ukraine will host Sweden, with the winner facing Poland or Albania. Ukraine's Football Association President Andriy Shevchenko expressed optimism about representing Europe.
Because the world going to a globalization, I think it's very nice that a free big country gonna host the World Cup first time in history also. I'm looking forward to some incredible games. It's gonna be very competitive World Cup.
Sweden's coach Graham Potter is also confident.
I think it's a spectacle. It's going to be amazing, and obviously on the pitch as well, different challenges. So I'm sure it's going to be an amazing tournament.
Now, Italy's road is tougher. They will host Northern Ireland first, then play away to qualify, aiming to recover from recent failures at the playoff stage. Coach Gennaro Gattuso acknowledged the pressure but remains fearless. He said, "We respect everyone, fear no one, and know the semi-final is 90 minutes. We hope to be ready." But what about African playoffs and representation? Africa's playoff stage fits into intercontinental playoffs, with Democratic Republic of Congo fresh from winning the CAF playoffs against Nigeria, representing CAF's hope. DRC has a final shot at the World Cup qualification by competing against another confederation team. If successful, they will be Africa's 10th team at the tournament. Now, 9 African teams already qualified by topping their groups, and they are Senegal, Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, Ghana, South Africa, Algeria, Ivory Coast, and Cape Verde. FIFA President Gianni Infantino hailed this as an unprecedented World Cup for Africa.
With 9 or 10 African countries participating, all extremely competitive, extremely strong. Cape Verde for the first time qualifying as well. Great surprise. I think, African teams will be quite successful or very successful at the World Cup.
Now, just for summary of continental representation, Europe, and that is UEFA, they have 16 direct qualifiers plus 4 playoff spots, and that makes it 20 teams who qualify for the World Cup. Africa, that is under CAF, they have 9 direct qualifiers and 1 playoff contender, potentially DRC, meaning we could have 9 or 10 African teams participating in the World Cup. Asia, under AFC, have 8 direct qualifiers plus 1 playoff, making it 8 or 9 teams to represent Asia. South America, that is the CONMEBOL, has 6 direct qualifiers plus 1 playoff, which is 6 or 7 teams. North American, CONCACAF, has 6 direct, including host USA, Canada, Mexico, plus 2 extra spots, 1 playoff, which is 6 or 7 teams. Oceania, that is OFC, 1 direct spot plus 1 playoffs. And now, one thing you need to know is this expansion delivers the strongest ever European and African representation in World Cup history. Now, Pre the World Cup, there are some warm-up games, and in the lead-up, Australia and Uzbekistan will host FIFA-backed intercontinental friendly tournaments in March. Known as the FIFA Series, these mini tournaments provide valuable competition for developing soccer nations. Qualified teams will also arrange their own warm-up games during the 9-day intercontinental break that is in March next year, often choosing opponents from their World Cup groups. Defending champions like Argentina, where Messi plays, Brazil, England, France, Germany, and Spain find it easy to schedule high-profile matches, of course. The US is expected to feature Portugal, featuring Cristiano Ronaldo. The FIFA series serves to connect countries that rarely meet competitively, broadening the global football footprint. Now back to Europe's top leagues. As European clubs resume full throttle post-international break, a number of players have sustained injuries. In the Bundesliga, Frankfurt's midfielder Hugo Larsson is out for 3 to 4 weeks with a thigh injury. RB Leipzig defender El Chadaile also faces several weeks out after a thigh muscle injury. Bayern Munich's Alphonso Davies is nearing a return after a long ACL recovery. But Wolfsburg's Joachim Mahel is sidelined indefinitely with a serious shoulder injury. In the Premier League, Arsenal was hit hard, with key defender Gabriel suffering a thigh injury, expected to sideline him for up to 15 games. Chelsea's Cole Palmer broke a toe in an accident at home and will miss several upcoming matches. Arsenal also have doubts over players like Martin Odegaard and Kai Havertz due to knocks sustained during the break. Manchester City, on the other hand, aims to narrow the gap at the top to a single point with a win at Newcastle today. Yet Pep Guardiola cautions it's too early to talk titles.
We are in November, and in November in this league, nothing defined. So what happened in February, March, be careful. But now start the season really, right? So there's two parts of the season. It's when the transfer window is over in summer, and after when international break is over. And now international break is done. So now we'll be until March. See each other every 3 days, 4 days, 3 days, 4 days game. So now it's the real season start now. And the important is to be there, to be close there. And after that, arrive at the end of the season with the chance that we can fight it. That is the target. And of course,
striker Erling Haaland approaches a major milestone, sitting on a 99 Premier League goals from 108 appearances since joining City in 2022.
Yeah, really, it's incredible this season. You know, he broke all the records. He's breaking a lot of personal, individual records and Premier League records. I think for Norway records. So. But happy for him, you know, for his national team. So many, I heard yesterday that many of the squads for Norway not even were born when the last time that Norway was in the World Cup. So I think for the country is incredible, and have made an incredible qualification, scoring a lot of goals, playing really good, and you know, as a football player and his status as a football player, world-class player, you know, deserves to play a World Cup and live the experience. And the perfect age, he's mature, and yeah, so happy for him.
He is poised to break Alan Shearer's record for the fastest century, currently standing at 124 games at Shearer's historic ground. Very well, very well. Another warm welcome. Of course, if you're joining us right now, it is a Bundesliga, of course, live commentary. Bayern Munich, the league leaders, facing Freiburg. And the game is at 2-2. And before the international break, as we've outlined, FC Bayern's winning streak of 2025-2026 season came to an end after 16 consecutive victories at the start of the campaign. However, the Munich side remains undefeated. And that is what they are trying to demonstrate in the match today as they face SC Freiburg. The game is 2-2. And compared to the 2-2 draw at Union Berlin before the break, Vincent Kompany has made a number of changes we've seen evidently in today's match. And we're seeing players like Kimmich and Gnabry, Bischoff, of course, most of them on bench, but likely to come on board. And Freiburg coach Julian Schuster making 4 changes after the 2-1 win against Sao Paulo 2 weeks ago, and instead of Leinhardt, Gunther, the strong man at the defense, was starting, and he's demonstrated discipline in that defensive side. Much is expected from them. They were taking early lead as from the onset of this particular game. Nobody expected them to do that. They've been trying to hold Bayern in their home turf, that is Allianz Arena. And we shall be getting shortly to the second half of this particular game. Who will emerge victorious? Freiburg versus Bayern Munich. And this is coming to you live from DW Africa on our YouTube page. Just a recap of the game itself. It started on a very, high pace. We having Freiburg, of course, registering in the score sheet very pretty early. Bayern trying to struggle to find their way, of course, there. But later on, they were able to get their winning ways. And as we can see now, they are just about to get on board. Goalkeeper Emmanuel Neuer had a stomach bug, but had a wonderful training and was, of course, eligible to play today. We've seen him made a number of saves, but sluggish, of course, beginning. But Bayern has rediscovered their winning ways. Michael Olise also on score sheet today for Bayern. And youngster Leon Karl, of course, taking the goal that was the first goal for Bayern Munich in the 22nd minute. Tell us your prediction. Who do you think is going to emerge victorious in today's game? Bayern facing Freiburg, and in other Bundesliga matches, Heidenheim facing off against Gladbach. Gladbach have already won 1-0. Dortmund are ahead of Stuttgart. The game ending at 2-0, that is halftime. And this one that we are commentating, Bayern versus Freiburg, 2-2. We have Wolfsburg versus Leverkusen at 3-0. And this makes the table so interesting. Bayern, of course, leading currently at 29 points, followed by Borussia Dortmund at 24 points. Then Leverkusen closing in at 23 points. RB Leipzig also at 22 points. Pretty much interesting, and the league is back to full throttle after the international break. We're yet to see what will happen.
Do you expect a lot of substitutes, George, for Bayern? We'll just have to wait and see. It's not too many in the forward line that can come on for Bayern. We expect Luis Diaz to continue because he looked really tired after his exertions playing for his country, Colombia, and having to fly in. And this is why we just have to wait and see. But I think he'll come back on the pitch for the simple reason that Bayern don't have too many strikers on the bench. Serge Gnabry is injured, so we won't see him today. Let me just give you a game, the early kickoff from the Premier League. Burnley face Chelsea. Burnley, of course, Vincent Kompany's old club.
Yeah.
It finished Burnley 0, Chelsea 2. Good performance there by the Blues, and Pedro Neto and Enzo Fernandez getting the goals there for Chelsea. And I think they are in second place, just 3 points behind Arsenal. And Arsenal, of course, Bayern Munich's opponents in midweek.
Midweek, the Champions League, that is, Alex.
How do you see that one?
It will be interesting, and of course, how it pans out today would determine how they perform in this particular one.
Arsenal, of course, with a very difficult game on Sunday. They face Tottenham Hotspur in the North London derby. That's going to be a tough game for Arsenal. And they've already lost Gabriel, the Brazilian defender, and he was the man that Arsenal wanted to mark Harry Kane. Harry Kane's had a quiet game till now, but that doesn't mean anything, because he can suddenly pop up with a goal, as he did
at
against,
any given time, yeah.
Against Union Berlin last time when Bayern played in that 2-2 draw. Kane getting the equaliser in the 96th minute of added time. 6 minutes of added time. Bayern playing from left to right. It's 2-2. The ball played in the penalty area, and expect an onslaught by the record champions. 33 times champions of Germany, Bayern Munich, and let's see what they can produce in this second half. I don't see any changes, George, do you? No substitutions?
No substitutions at all from both sides, Alex.
Actually, Konrad Laimer has come on for Goretzka. That's one. Konrad Laimer coming on for Leon Goretzka. Now that surprises me, because Laimer is a defender. Laimer is a defender, so how can he replace Goretzka, who's a midfielder? Maybe Bischoff could go into the midfield and Laimer take the left-back position. We'll just have to wait and see. But there's been a fabulous first 45 minutes of the Allianz. 2 set-piece goals for Freiburg. But as we expected, that only sparked Bayern into life. Leonard Karl, the youngster, getting a good goal. And then, of course, it was Suzuki and Manzambi, the best players for Freiburg, and Leonard Karl and Olise getting the goals for Bayern. The ball played into the penalty area there.
Olise
on the ball, helping out at the back, but has got plenty of Freiburg players trying to get onto the ball, and this is Manzambi. Good work by Manzambi. Plays the ball to his right. He finds Rosenfelder, and Rosenfelder plays the ball all the way back to Noah Atubulu, who was not at fault for either goals, as Freiburg have got a little bit of space to come forward. This is Suzuki, the Japanese player who got a goal in the first half. Opportunity here for Dennis Scherhan on the ball for Freiburg. Freiburg looking good. Eggestein tries his luck, but it comes off a Bayern block, and Bayern playing their way out of danger, but taking risks there, George. What do you think?
Definitely taking risk, Alex, and I don't know. This is how it started in the first half, and we were seeing Freiburg being able to capitalize on that opportunity. They had a solid, lead of 2 goals, and if Bayern is not reorganized, the story could be different, Alex. Again,
it could. 37 goals. Bayern Munich, the scoring machine of the Bundesliga and the fortress of the Bundesliga. Now, before this game, they conceded just 6 goals, but now they've conceded 8. And that might be a bit worrying for Kompany, because 2 goals last match against Union, and 2 goals today, 4 goals in their last 2 games, and with the big one against Arsenal coming up in midweek. So the defence may be struggling a little bit. It's a free kick to Freiburg, who's looked really good, I must say. It's going to be Bester, Jan-Niklas Bester, to take the free kick. It's outside the penalty area. Lifts it into the penalty area. The ball bouncing around, but it almost fell to Eggestein, the veteran. And it's a throw-in to Freiburg. And you can see Julian Schuster, the Freiburg coach, their former player. He's been doing very well since taking over for Christian Streich, the legendary coach, Christian Streich, who was 10 years in charge here. And it's a throw-in to Freiburg. It's going to be taken by Johan Manzambi.
Manzambi, our man of the match today, Alex.
Absolutely. It's a long throw, and the long throw seems to be back. It's going to fall to Suzuki, but Neuer does enough to stop it from going out for a corner. Manuel Neuer, who's been beaten by Suzuki already once today, and but 8 goals conceded. I guess the Bayern Munich hierarchy will start to worry a little bit. So, and then of course before the game we heard that Freiburg have only scored 13, and that's as many goals as Harry Kane has scored, but they've scored 2 today, so they've scored 15 goals. And Bayern, of course, with the highest amount of possession in the Bundesliga, 61%. And there's just one team who cover more ground than Bayern, that is Hoffenheim. That is a big surprise. Opportunity here. Jonathan Tah keeping his nerve right at the back there. Bayern unperturbed, playing the ball around, and Neuer decides to play the long ball out of defence. Here come Bayern Munich. This is Kane, picks up the ball, not a good pass, and it goes out into touch as a throw into Freiburg. George, in spite of a good comeback, this is not the Bayern Munich side we know.
This is not what we expected, actually, Alex, because at the beginning of the match, one would have, expected Bayern to have a commanding lead against Freiburg. But it's like they're actually defending the 2 goals.
Freiburg, of course, very strong at set pieces, as we saw both their goals today coming after set pieces. That makes 9 goals from set pieces. Bayern also very strong from set pieces this season. And as we also saw, the long throw seems to be coming back into football. Very surprising, that. It's an old ploy. Here comes Leonard Carl. Leonard Carl on the ball. He's got plenty of space. Lays it across to Olise. Olise cuts inside. He finds Stanisic. Stanisic finds... Oh, and it's a goal! And it's that man, Leonard Carl. But I think it was offside. What do you think, George? Was it offside?
I think it shall be checked, Alex.
Leonard Carl once more, the man of the moment at Bayern Munich, the youngster. Let's see. Bayern suddenly opening up that Freiburg defence. And, well, that was a very tight decision. Was Michael Olise really offside before the ball was played to Leonard Carl, from Leonard Carl? We'll just have to wait and see. That is a tight decision. I wonder if that goal's going to stand. Leonard Carl again, the man involved. What a player, the youngster.
And if this goal counts for sure, Alex, then Bayern are back to their winning ways.
Absolutely. Well, it looks offside from this position. Stanisic looked offside, and I don't think that goal's going to stand, George.
Oh, it has been disallowed.
It's been disallowed. Okay, lucky escape for Freiburg there. But, of course, when Bayern want to turn on the style, they can, as we saw.
And that should be a wake-up call for Freiburg.
Absolutely.
It should be a wake-up call for them.
Maybe they should just try and defend and keep that point. What do you think?
That is what naturally I would tell them if I was their coach.
But, of course, it's a bit early. We're only in the 52nd minute, and I doubt they can defend for the rest of the second half. But then, of course, if they offer Bayern so much space as they did a few moments ago, then they'll be eaten up. Here comes Stanisic. He finds Olise. Olise finds Leonard Carl. And this guy is in form, I can tell you. Here are Bayern. Pavlovic lays the ball across to Tar. Tar plays it to his left to Konrad Laimer. Laimer, the substitute, the Austrian. He too is looking forward to the World Cup because Austria have qualified for the World Cup too. Here comes Leonard Carl. Plays the ball to Olise. Olise hugging the touchline in his preferred right-wing position. Pavlovic plays the ball out to Laimer. Laimer, plenty of space there for Luis Diaz on that left wing. He tries to take on 2 defenders. Luis Diaz suddenly waking up there, finds Laimer. Laimer plays the ball back to Pavlovic. Pavlovic on the ball here. Pavlovic slips it forward to Leonard Carl. Leonard Carl, here's Harry Kane.
And this should have been a goal for sure.
Yeah, he delayed his shot a little bit too long there. Here comes Pavlovic once more. Bayern certainly waking up now. They're turning on the style. Pavlovic, Harry Kane, and the ball takes a deflection and goes into touch there. Bayern certainly turning on the style there, George.
Definitely, and we can see Olise's involvement and movement on the ball. Very integral into changing this particular game, Alex.
Borussia Dortmund 3-1 up against Stuttgart now. Serhou Guirassy among the scorers there. Dennis Undav pulling a goal back for Stuttgart, but Guirassy, the striker from Guinea, amongst the goals once more. 3-1 Borussia Dortmund lead. Leverkusen 3-0 up at Wolfsburg. Corner to Bayern. It's a good one. It's a dangerous one. And it's a goal.
Very easy.
It's an easy goal. Upamecano, would you believe? He doesn't score very often, but he's certainly enjoying his moment. Dayot Upamecano. It was a brilliantly taken corner. and Upamecano came in on the blind side.
Me and just swung it inside.
Nobody expected him because he's a defender. Nobody expected him, and he came in and he's enjoying the moment. Dayot Upamecano. Bayern 2-0 down, 3-2 up.
Definitely, and such aerial balls, one would expect a defender to go by the head, but of course, he took it with a precision placement. The goalkeeper was not expecting that, definitely.
No, nobody was. Mönchengladbach 2-0 up against Heidenheim now. It's Kevin Dix and Alis Tabakovic, the scorer, and Mönchengladbach fans will be happy to hear that Tim Kleindienst is on the bench. He's on the verge of returning. And let me just remind you, the late kickoff is between Cologne and Eintracht Frankfurt later on this evening. So Bayern back to where they belong, and let's take a look at the table. Back to business, and they are now, of course, 7 points ahead of Borussia Dortmund, who are in second place. Bayern back to themselves there. 3-2, and Julian Schuster looking stunned and a bit disappointed, of course. And now, of course, they've woken up, Bayern, and now they want more goals. They want to go into that game against Arsenal in midweek
with a sweet victory, of course. If they maintain their leadership at the Bundesliga, if back home everything is in order, then it's much easier for them to extend their winning ways elsewhere.
Here's Pavlovic, lays the ball out to his right. This is Olise, that means danger. Olise, right into the arms of Noah Atubulu. Bayern Munich, top of the table for 434 days now. That's a new record. And they started this game really badly, 2-0 down, but now they lead by 3-2. And I just wonder if Haman Musiala comes back at the end of the year or in January. I wonder how he will fit in. How do you think Musiala will fit into this Bayern Munich side? Could it be, George, that his return might disrupt the machine?
One would say that his return actually could maybe be slow. I don't think necessarily it will disrupt the machine.
I just wonder who he'll come in for, because I mean, who are you going to drop now? They're playing so well. Interesting from a footballing point of view. This has happened, of course. We saw that with Florian Wirtz, when he joined Liverpool. I don't want to say it's his fault, but Liverpool not half as good as they were last season, although their new signings were bought for a lot of money. Alexander Isak, and of course Etikite and Wirtz. Opportunity here for Karl. Karl looking unstoppable when he's on the ball there. Bayern, the strongest they've been for a long time, really shining as a collective, but not only as a collective, also through individual brilliance of Leonard Karl and the individual brilliance of
Michael Olise
and Luis Diaz. And I'd say the arrival of Luis Diaz has only elevated Bayern's attacking power. Alongside Kane, the duo have been responsible for 54% of Bayern's goals. Luis Diaz and Harry Kane. That is something. Here they come once more.
Making the Allianz Arena in a buzzing mood as Bayern's determination and quality is now shaping up. Hopefully, this may be as well as done, Alex. Can we conclude?
I think so. I think it's, without wanting to be too unkind to Freiburg, I think it's just a matter of how many goals they now concede. But they've played well. Manzambi, they've been brave. They've not just lain down and died like so many opponents do when they come to the Allianz. Olise on the ball. Olise tussling for possession with Manzambi. Leonard Karl, good work. He's probably been Bayern's best player. Here's Leonard Karl once more. He wants the second goal. Harry Kane scores.
This is over, Alex.
It's over. Harry Kane scores his 14th goal of the season, and Manuel Neuer running around in his goal mouth. Harry Kane makes it 4-2. What a comeback. What a comeback for Bayern. 4-2. They were 2-0 down. And Harry Kane gets his 14th goal of the season.
A very clinical finishing.
I think it was once more the creative work of Michael Olise, who just could not be stopped by Mansambi. Olise gave it, I think, to Carl, and Carl picked out Carl running into the penalty area and the ball bouncing around. It fell to Harry Kane. He was on the penalty spot there. He just let fly past Noah Atubulu, and it's 4-2 to Bayern. And what more do Bayern supporters want, George?
They wouldn't expect more, of course, with Kane's poise and precision in front of the goal. Obviously, always knowing where to stand. He's always at the right place, Alex, making this goal so easy to score.
4-2, and it's a long time to play. There's around half an hour to play, and I think it's going to be a very difficult one for Freiburg. A very difficult half an hour for Freiburg.
This would be a daunting task for them, obviously, Alex.
Here's Scherhand, Derry Scherhand for Freiburg. Good skills by the youngster who joined from Hertha Berlin. Leon says the referee. Here's Leonard Karl, who looks really dangerous. Olise, great work by Olise, skating round and wins a free kick. Jordi Makengo, the French-Congolese left-back, bringing him down there, playing for Christian Günther, the Freiburg captain. 441 games, and he's rested today, Christian Günther. And Bayern's attack, one of the most feared in world football, showing just why. In spite of being 2-0 down, they are now 4-2 up. Here they come. The ball picked up by Bayern. This is Upamecano, who enjoyed his goal a few moments ago. Certainly enjoyed his goals. Not often that Upamecano scores. Here is Leonard Karl enjoying himself
looking
too.
so confident.
A few step overs there in front of the Freiburg defenders. The ball finds the ball played to Pavlovic. Pavlovic on the ball picks out Upamecano, who's loves to come forward. Here come Bayern. Oh, on that far side is Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz taking on all the defenders there, but it's headed away by Freiburg, and they play the ball out of defence, but it's gobbled up by Jonathan Tah. Jonathan Tah in the Freiburg half. This is vintage Bayern. This is Bayern at the very best. This is Bayern pressing really hard. The ball played out to the wing. This is Leonard Karl. Leonard Karl. Slow, composed football here by Bayern, and then they suddenly explode within the box. Harry Kane, who made it 4-2 a few moments ago. Wolfsburg have now pulled the goal back. They are 3-1 down against Leverkusen, but Vavro has scored for Wolfsburg. Leverkusen, goals from Hoffmann, Edmund Tapsoba and Marek Tillmann. They're 3-1 up there at the Wolves. Still no goals between Augsburg and Hamburg, and Mönchengladbach, as we told you, 2-0 up in Heidenheim. And a goal being disallowed by Borussia Dortmund, so it's only 2-1 the scoreline in the Signal Iduna Park. Dortmund 2, Stuttgart 1. So we'll just have to wait and see if Stuttgart have got enough power to come back. And we mustn't forget, George, Bayern are without Joshua Kimmich.
Unimaginable, Alex.
Without Kimmich, and he averages around 11 kilometres per match. Bayern cover around 122 kilometres average per game. That's not bad. That's a new club record, by the way. And Kimmich, 11 kilometres. Substitutions now coming on. 3 substitutions for Freiburg. Matanovic is 1. Lukas Höhler's coming off. Matanovic coming on. I can just tell you, just have to wait to tell you who the others are for a minute. So Osterhage has come on for Manzambi. Now that surprises me, but maybe he's tired.
Could be he's tired. He's actually given his all. And Alex, the substitutions will be crucial in this intense battle against Bayern. They are fresh legs, and of course tactical changes could help them to shore up the defense and maintain their lead.
Indeed. So Patrick Osterhage coming on in midfield for Johan Mansambi. Igor Matanovic coming on for Lukas Höhler. Now I understand that because we've not seen anything from Lukas Höhler all through the game, and Igor Matanovic coming on there as though they've got a target man, the number 9 position there, Igor Mantanovic, Höhler off, Monsambi off, and Denny Sherhand is also off, and Eren Dinkci coming on for the final minutes. Eren Dinkci, his form's not been too good, the Turkish winger, but he can produce. He's a signing from Heidenheim, as was, of course, Jan Niklas Beste, who came to Augsburg via Benfica Lisbon, but made a name for himself at Heidenheim. So Dinkci, Matanovic and Osterhage now on.
Alex, it is a tightrope walk, and the next few minutes will reveal if Freiburg changes can pay off in this high-stakes clash. Bayern have rediscovered their top-flight form of football.
Bayern 4-2 up and cruising. Slow start by the champions. Here's Olise, and they certainly wake up. Olise tries a shot, but it comes off the defenders there.
I like the way he glides through the midfield. He's like dancing through them, Alex.
Yeah, amazing skills by Olise. Here's Leonard Karl, plays the ball to his right, to Olise. Slows down the pace of the game. He's got Jordi Makengo in front of him. Pavlovic, Upamecano, who scored. And as it's so rare, we could keep repeating that Upamecano has scored a goal.
He has scored a goal, Alex.
Here come Bayern once more. They're 4-2 up and they want more. They want more. They could, of course, say, OK, we're going to sit back and rest, keep our energy for that Arsenal game. Here's Olise. Olise on the ball. Great work by Olise! But Luis Diaz, too many players in front of him. Luis Diaz still on the ball, skating around and outside that penalty area. And Leonard Karl picks up the ball. Clever feed by Karl. Here's Pavlovic. All this outside the D of the penalty area. Pavlovic once more. Bayern certainly enjoying themselves now.
They are indeed enjoying themselves, Alex, and they are dominating possession, controlling almost all the percentages are available in this particular half, as it is typical for their style in this 2025 Bundesliga season, Alex.
What a performance.
Patient build-up, and they have it back under their control.
Well, they had to be 2-0 down to really come back. It did them very good to be 2-0 down. And here they come once more. Plenty of space for Konrad Laimer. Fresh legs for Bayern. This, of course, Laimer coming on only in the second half. The ball played across to Luis Diaz, taking on the defenders. Luis Diaz for Bayern Munich. Great work by Diaz! Oh! And his effort just whistling past the post there. That was
almost.
What a goal that would have been by Luis Diaz, taking on 2 or 3 defenders and bending his effort just wide of the post. I don't think Noah Tobulu, he might have had a touch, but difficult. Great effort by Luis Diaz, but it just whistled past the post there.
That was a very great effort. He was trying to pull things together for Bayern, and the aggression is clearly seen. He may score, Alex. What do you think?
Well, I think he wants to. He definitely wants to. And the referee stopping the game for a minute, not really know why. Sven Jablonski from Bremen. There was a call from the VAR in Cologne, but play on, and Noah Tobulu's got the ball. And that guy, Leonard Karl, the youngster, he's 17 and he's looking really good, but he goes down. He seems to have a problem there, Leonard Karl, holding his back, and I'm sure they'll want him to come off. Leonard Karl taking a knock, and Vincent Kompany looking rather concerned there, because Leonard Karl's been in excellent form this afternoon. As we see,
has been impressive.
The Bayern honchos there all sitting next to each other, all looking very cold, because it's an icy day in Germany today. And Leonard Karl's limping off, and let's just see who's going to come on for him. He seems to have hurt his lower back, and he's sort of signalling that he's hurt his the lower part of his back there, as we watch Upamecano's goal. Sliding in from nowhere there, Dayot Upamecano, and getting a very rare goal, but he certainly enjoyed it. He certainly enjoyed that goal.
Glad you're calling it rare, Alex.
Yeah.
But it was a goal.
It certainly was a goal, yes. So let's see who's going to come on for Leonard Carl. Taking no risks, off he comes.
There goes
Nicholas
Jackson.
Nicholas Jackson comes on, the Senegalese striker. Looking forward to the World Cup, of course, because Senegal have qualified. And off comes Leonard Carl to the applause of the Allianz Arena. They don't want to risk him, and so Nicholas Jackson, given the opportunity to show what he can do, he'll be playing possibly just behind Harry Kane, or maybe on the wing. I think Nicholas Jackson's position is best on the wing, not so much in the centre behind Harry Kane, because there doesn't seem to be enough space just behind the striker, because so many players mark Harry Kane, and that leaves Nicholas Jackson with very little space to manoeuvre behind Kane. Let's just see, where is Nicholas Jackson going to be? Well, he is certainly very much in the centre now.
And
Here's
there
Nicholas
goes
Jackson on the ball. Nicholas Jackson going forward. Can he get a shot on target? Jackson tries to play the ball out to Olise, but Freiburg defending really well. Here they come. But it's picked up once more by Bayern as Olise plays the ball into touch, because there was a knock on a Bayern player, on Upamecano, I think, who seems to have taken a little knock there, and he's beginning to limp heavily, Upamecano. They won't want to lose their players before that Arsenal game. He seems to have pulled the muscle there, Upamecano. That was, of course, Eggestein, the veteran. Upamecano,
The third goal scorer, we should say.
yeah, decides to continue and plays the ball all the way back to his keeper. He's all right again. Let me keep reminding you, Arsenal without Gabriel, the Brazilian, for that crucial Champions League game in midweek. But the ball played into touch here by Munich. Nicholas Jackson on for the injured Leonard Carl. Dortmund, well, it's difficult to understand what's going on in that game in Dortmund, because it's 2-2 now, would you believe? Dennis Undaff with a couple of goals, making it Dortmund 2, Stuttgart 2. That is some performance by Stuttgart. 2-2. Leverkusen 3-1 up in Wolfsburg. And Mönchengladbach 2-0 up at Heidenheim. Still no goals between Augsburg and Hamburg. Now let's see what all that means for the table. Let's take a look at the table.
That means Leverkusen.
Leverkusen are back to second place on 23 points. That's 8 points behind Bayern, and Dortmund dropping to third on 22. That means 9 points behind Bayern. Leipzig, of course, they play on Sunday. They are in fourth. Leipzig play Werder Bremen, and St. Pauli, they face Union Berlin, the side who got a 2-2 draw against Bayern 2 weeks ago. The ball picked up by Bayern, but a chance here for Freiburg. But away past the Bayern defence now. This is Pavlovic. Pavlovic turns, checks, still Pavlovic. Slips it forward to Nicholas Jackson. Nicholas Jackson to Pavlovic. Good football this by Bayern. Over on that far side, this is Tom Bischoff. Finds Lima. Well, Freiburg defending for all they're worth. Here's Harry Kane. Although he scored, it's not been one of his best games, Harry Kane. We've not seen him too much.
He appeared quite lost throughout the game. I think Upamecano is calling out for substitution himself, Alex.
Is he?
Could be.
Okay.
He's been seriously injured.
Okay, here come Freiburg. This is Eggestein, lays the ball across to Bester, who is certainly difficult to stop. Bester on the ball, turns, checks, lays it across. Chance here for Freiburg!
Oh!
Just over the crossbar there. Good effort by Eren Dikci, the Turkish winger. Good effort.
Quite a good effort. And maybe scoring one goal.
One goal, of course.
Could awaken their spirit.
Absolutely.
And maybe this game ends at a 4-4 draw.
Oh, dear.
Would you believe it, Alex?
Well, they'd have to really put in a stellar performance, Freiburg, in the last 15 minutes. Manuel Neuer conceding 8 goals this term. And Kompany, of course, given a lot of credit, the coach, for allowing youngsters to shine. Leonard Carl, of course, won. Considered one of the brightest teenagers in German football, Leonard Carl. We might see him at the World Cup, but A lot of people saying it's far too early. Freiburg. Well, I'll tell you what, George. Freiburg are the only team in the Bundesliga to have scored at least half of their goals from set pieces. And they scored both their goals from set pieces today. So they need a set piece.
Yeah, they need a set piece.
Freiburg
to throw this game into a draw.
Absolutely. Freiburg, of course, on an unbeaten run before this game in all competitions to 4 matches. Here they come once more. The ball played across, opportunity here for Freiburg. But good defending by Konrad Laimer, and Harry Kane was helping out at the back. Here's Harry Kane striding forward in the centre circle. Harry Kane on the ball. Harry Kane. It's all about releasing it at the right time now. Harry Kane leaves it to Pavlovic, but Freiburg get plenty of players back. Olise bending it over the crossbar there. Michael Olise. Let me just remind you, the late kickoff has been Cologne and Frankfurt. That's going to be a very interesting game. Frankfurt climbing back up to 7th. Cologne slipping to 9th.
There you go, Alex. Upamecano is out and Kim is coming in.
All right, of course. Why risk Upamecano when you've got such a seasoned player like Kim? So Upamecano coming off. They'll hope he'll get ready for the Arsenal game. They're looking very worried on the Bayern bench, but Min-Jae Kim is also a very reliable defender. And let me just tell you again, Cologne, who face Frankfurt later on today, they slipped to 9th in the table after falling to that Rhine derby defeat at Mönchengladbach. They lost there by 3-1. And Frankfurt, of course, with plenty of players of African descent. Elie Wahi, he's French Ivorian. Bahoya, he's been on Frankfurt's books, not really sure if he's going to continue there. French Cameroonian. Jessic Ngankam, he's German Cameroonian. Ansgar Knauf, he's German Ghanaian. Michi Batshuayi, he's Belgian Congolese. Elias Kiri, he's Tunisian. And Fares Shaibi, he's Algerian. And Aurel Amenda, he's Swiss Cameroonian. And Aurelio Buta, Portuguese Angolan. Here comes Olise, slips the ball forward. And
that
it's a goal
was
for
brilliant from Olise.
Nicholas Jackson has scored.
Masterpiece.
Olise, the creator of the goal, and Nicholas Jackson scores for Bayern Munich. The former Chelsea striker finishing off a fine move here, and let's hope that wasn't an offside decision. It was Olise going forward, went past the defenders, slipped it forward. I don't think he was offside, and Nicholas Jackson kept his nerve and scored to put Bayern 5-2 up. Or is it 4-2? I've lost count, George.
That is 5-2, Alex. And
5-2.
The brilliance in the delivery of Olise. A very good assist, Alex.
Very good assist and a fine finish by Nicholas Jackson. The Senegalese striker making it 5-2. What a comeback by Bayern. What a comeback by Bayern. Well, the tiny chance that Freiburg might come back, but the Allianz celebrating Nicholas Jackson's goal, the Senegalese striker. Good performance that was, because he took his time and he placed it out of the reach of the keeper. He's developing into a very useful player. 26 caps for Senegal, Nicholas Jackson, and this is his second Bundesliga goal.
It's a tightrope for Freiburg, Alex.
Indeed.
I don't see any comeback.
No way. They just have to keep the scoreline down. But this, of course, could be expected, of course. You don't annoy the dragon, and you don't expect them to lay down and die. They were 2-0 down, and that really provoked them.
Yeah, that was a provocation.
Yes, and now they're 5-2 up. Jackson also scored 2 in the Champions League for Bayern, and now he's scored in the Bundesliga a couple of goals. So good to see him doing well in the Bundesliga, Nicholas Jackson.
And this is Bayern without Kimmich.
This is Bayern without Kimmich, exactly. Long ball forward by Noah Atobulu. I don't think he can be faulted with any goals there. And Bayern, would you believe, they want more. Here come Freiburg. Opportunity. This is Grifo, who's come on now, the Italian international. Grifo on the ball for Freiburg. Here is Makengo. Jordi Makengo on the ball, the French-Congolese player. Opportunity for Freiburg to try and salvage something, make the scoreline look a little bit better, because they've still got, George, they've still got 10 minutes to play. So they've got to be really careful that they're not beaten with a very high scoreline here.
But I don't see 3 goals coming from them in the 10 minutes, Alex.
No way. No way, it's over. They just have to keep the scoreline respectfully down.
And decent.
Yeah. Suzuki off for Grifo and Lienhard on for Rosenfelder. Philipp Lienhard is an Austrian defender. He's been at Freiburg for a long time. 38 caps for Austria, Philipp Lienhard. And he's starting off his career, amazingly, at Real Madrid, where he spent 3 years in the academy. And very interesting career he's had. But here come Bayern Munich. This is Olise on the right wing. Plays it forward to Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz lays it across. It falls to Nicholas Jackson. Can he get a shot on target? Jackson still on the ball. Lays it across to Olise. But it's picked up by Freiburg. And it's a foul by Pavlovic. And Nicholas Jackson adding a lot of fresh legs to that Bayern Munich attack.
And the flair comes with it. And basically, to me, Bayern is showing Freiburg what it means, actually, to control top-class football. You see the possession itself, Alex, and it's amazing, so to speak.
5-2 they lead after being 2-0 down, Bayern. And Freiburg, still, I'd say, George, they've had a good game.
They tried.
They tried their best.
They tried their best.
Osterhager on the ball. Here they come.
It could have been worse. They've tried.
They've tried. They've just got to see that they don't concede more goals in the final 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes of added time here. Sorry, not added time, of normal time remaining. And it's a throw-in to Freiburg, but Bayern have blown them out of the stadium. They are 5-2 up, would you believe? The scorers: Karl, Olise, Upamecano, Harry Kane and Nicholas Jackson, with Suzuki and Mansambi.
And the youngster is coming in, Wisdom.
Okay, this is a significant moment for Bayern. Harry Kane is coming off, and Hiroki Ito is back after a very long spell on the sidelines. Ito comes back for Bayern, number 21 on his back. And Wisdom Mike, the young Nigerian, he's on the pitch. So we've got two African players, Wisdom Mike and Nicholas Jackson, on the pitch for Bayern.
Only 17 years.
Only 17 years, and it's his second Bundesliga match, Wisdom Mike. And here come Bayern Munich, swarming forward. Luis Diaz, who suddenly seems to have recovered from his early fitness problems. He looked very tired at the beginning of the game, but he's certainly looking good now. So Wisdom Mike on, and let's see what he can do, the youngster. And of course Ito, we can't praise him enough for fighting his way back into the side. Hiroki Ito, who signed from Stuttgart, the Japanese player who is a left back. And
it's the precision, Alex, for me. They're totally wearing down the visitors. And Freiburg.
Oh, what a goal! Oh, what a goal by Olise!
A brilliant goal!
Michael Olise! An absolutely brilliant goal. George, describe it.
Olise, his precise pass, and of course, he's now made sure that he's not even giving the assist. He's converting the goals himself. That was a very wonderful curve. Out of the box, clear precision, looking at the goalkeeper and finding out that the goalkeeper was not properly positioned, and converting that particular goal. He knows where to stand, receiving the ball, knows how to run through and round up the defense, dancing through them, and then shoots at the top corner.
Brilliant goal.
Michael Olise.
Brilliant
That
goal.
is Michael Olise for you.
Cuts inside goes across the penalty box. That was an Arjen Robben type of goal, cutting side from the wing and letting fly into the corner of the game. And that caps off a brilliant performance, because I know, George, you were very impressed with him all through the game.
I've been.
And he caps it now with a beautiful goal.
That was a very beautiful goal.
6-2 to Bayern, but I think it's a bit harsh on Freiburg.
They should slow down.
They should now slow down. Corner to Freiburg, the visitors. Jan-Niklas Beste. Neuer punches it away, and it's played into the penalty area once more, but it goes over the goal. Well,
6 goals, but it seems not to be enough for them.
yeah, they want more. Would you believe it? This is Hiroki Ito, and that maybe is the story of the afternoon. The Japanese player back in contention of a starting place, and they certainly need him in the left-back position. Here he is, Hiroki Ito. At last, fit enough to play for Bayern after being out for several months after breaking his foot. Here's Jonathan Tah. Tah lays the ball across to Stanisic in the right-back position. Stanisic slips it forward to Luis Diaz. Here's Olise, the man who scored that beauty a few moments ago. And we've got Nicholas Jackson now, who's the lone striker for Bayern, because Harry Kane has been taken off. And he's already scored once, Nicholas Jackson. Can he do it again? Bayern 6-2 up. What a scoreline.
That is a huge scoreline. And Alex, a funny story has been told. Kenya was facing Senegal, and they went down 8-0. And some politicians were saying it should be legislated how many goals a team can score.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Well, that should be brought in quickly to the Bundesliga to stop Bayern from scoring.
They should be stopped. Someone should stop them.
Absolutely.
This is humiliation.
Poor Freiburg. Well, we feared this at the beginning of the game, George, and we were both amazed to see Freiburg take a 2-0 lead. And I think that's the story of the afternoon. Bayern 2-0 down and coming back to
with
lead.
Magical 6 goals.
6 goals. I mean, nobody expected that. Nobody expected that. But Freiburg have made it easy for them. They've given them plenty of space. You see, this is the problem. When you open up and try and go forward against Bayern, you give them space at the back, and they've profited, shall we say. This is Wisdom Mike on the ball. The young Nigerian, 16 years old, Wisdom Mike, and Bester pinches the ball off him. Wisdom Mike looking round, and here is Jordi Makengo for Freiburg. Can they get a goal back just to soften the impact of that scoreline? Osterhager. Here comes Grifo, Vincenzo Grifo. Good ball for Jordi Makendo to chase. Makendo lays the ball across. Chance here for Freiburg. And it was taken rather quickly there by Matanovic. Rushed his shot. He could have troubled Neuer a little bit more. It was a good move, but probably offside, Jordi Makendo. And 6-2 the scoreline remains, George. What an afternoon for Freiburg. I'll tell you what, they'll be glad to hear the final whistle.
Indeed, they will be glad, Alex.
Dortmund will be very disappointed. 2-2 there after being 2-0 up. Stuttgart doing very well. Leverkusen still 3-1 up. And Augsburg have scored against HSV Hamburg. Augsburg 1-0 up. And Anton Kader in the 76th minute has scored for Augsburg. And that will be a big relief for the Augsburg supporters, because there have been a problem. That is Noah Tobulu gets down, and Bayern Munich, they face Arsenal, and then they face Union Berlin. Of course, we mustn't forget that one. They face them in the cup once more, so that'll be interesting, because it was a very difficult game for Bayern 2 weeks ago at Union Berlin, and Bayern Munich next game in the Bundesliga is against St. Pauli, and then they face Union Berlin. And in between the St. Pauli game and this game is the Champions League game against Arsenal in midweek. 6-2, what a performance. What a performance for Bayern.
I've opened up a floodgates, of course.
It opened the floodgates, but we mustn't forget, of course, that Freiburg have some of the fastest players in the Bundesliga in Derry Sherhand and Yuito Suzuki, and of course Sirik Irie, he's injured of course, but they've still not stood a chance in the long run. Here's Jackson with a chance. It's picked up here by Stanisic on the ball, finds Olise, the man who delighted us all with that goal a few minutes ago. Here's Olise once more. He doesn't know what to do with the ball. He stands on it. He lays it back to Ito. Ito plays the ball across to Kim. Kim back to Ito. Bayern Munich just playing with the opposition now.
I mean, it's total dominance, Alex. I mean, in the second half, we've not even seen a clear chance from Freiburg.
No. This, of course, was to be expected. It was to be expected. But the only worrying thing from Bayern point of view is that they conceded 2 goals again in the Bundesliga. But if you score 6, I guess that's okay.
It cancels, you know, the goal difference actually.
6-2 Bayern lead, and Wisdom Mike and Nicholas Jackson on the pitch.
6 minutes of added time remaining.
6 minutes of added time. Now, where did that come from? You just have to wonder. Why have we got 6 minutes of added time? The ball played forward. This is Stanisic.
And Bayern still wants more. 6 is not enough for them.
Quite amazing. And it could be Joshua Kimmich warming up there.
That should be youngster Karl actually coming back to the bench.
Okay.
Remember, he suffered an injury when he was going out.
Right, Leonard Karl.
Yeah.
You're right. The ball picked up by Bayern once more. Here they come. This is Tom Bischoff. Brilliant ball forward, almost picking out Olise. And it's just really frightening how Bayern, they could say, you know, we're going to keep our energy for the Arsenal game. No way.
They're stubborn. They want a 7th goal.
It comes to Konrad Laimer, and he lifts it over the crossbar there. What a performance by Bayern Munich.
Who will stop them, Alex? Who will stop Bayern?
Well, I don't think anybody's going to stop them in the Bundesliga, quite frankly. Nobody's going to stop them in the Bundesliga. And that's why it is such a high scoreline we've got here. 6-2. 6-2.
How do you explain to your family?
Yeah. How do you explain?
6-2.
What a performance. Bayern Munich playing with the opposition, George. There's no other way I can put it. Do you agree? Playing with the opposition.
They're showing them how football should be played at the Allianz Arena.
Yeah.
You don't come to Allianz Arena and try and rattle them, provoke them.
No.
Of course, you go back home with punishment.
I think they should have tried to defend a little bit more, Freiburg. I think that 2-0 lead went to their head, quite honestly. And when they were 2-0 up, they should have tried to defend a little bit more. But having said that, George, I don't think that would have really helped, would it?
It wouldn't have.
So, Ito is the comeback story. Here's Wisdom Mike on the ball. The young German-Nigerian plays it forward. Here come Bayern Munich once more. This is Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz, who has had a relatively quiet game by his standards, finds Nicholas Jackson. Jackson tries to find Laimer. Konrad Laimer lays it across to Michael Olise. He cuts inside once more. Opportunity to get a shot on goal. That was exactly how he scored that goal a few minutes ago, Michael Olise. And you get the impression, George, that he's not really trying hard. He just is an excellent footballer.
Doing a very calm way.
Yeah.
It shows you that it is in him. It runs through his blood. He knows how to do it.
Yep.
He is not learning on the job.
Very laid back and gets such brilliant shots on target. Noah Tobulu couldn't stop any of them. They were unstoppable shots.
6 goals is a heavy toll.
Is a heavy one, indeed. A very heavy one. The ball played back to Neuer. Neuer sporting moustache. And there have been more goals in the game between Dortmund and Stuttgart, would you believe? The scoreline there is 3-3. Adeyemi putting Dortmund 3-2 up in the 89th minute, and Dennis Undav gets his third goal today for Stuttgart to make it 3-3. What a game there. Dortmund 3, Stuttgart 3, and Adeyemi's been in the headlines in the past few weeks because he apparently has told Borussia Dortmund he'd like to leave the club. So we're not really sure what the situation is there. And there goes the final whistle. No, it's somebody in the crowd. Well, I tell you what, I'm sure that Freiburg will be happy when they hear the final whistle.
It should end, actually. It should just end.
Yeah, it just should end the misery for Freiburg. The 6-2 down after leading 2-0. And I'll tell you what has finished the game in Wolfsburg. Leverkusen have won by 3-1. And there indeed goes the final whistle, would you believe?
Final whistle, 6-2.
Bayern, after being 2-0 down, which was certainly a very surprising scoreline. Freiburg taking the lead, 2-0 up. Suzuki putting them 1-0 up in the 12th minute. 6 minutes later, Johan Manzambi made it 2-0. Then Lennart Karl pulled the goal back for Bayern. And Michael Olise scored just before half-time, George. That was maybe the key to the success of Bayern this afternoon.
Definitely the highlight of the game.
Yeah, 2-2 that was. Then Upamecano made it 3-2 for Bayern. A rare goal for Dayot Upamecano. Harry Kane getting his 14th Bundesliga goal of the season, made it 4-2. Nicholas Jackson then, who'd come on for Harry Kane, made it 5-2. And Michael Olise, I think we both agree there, George, with the best goal of the afternoon, making it 6-2. What a performance by Bayern Munich. Freiburg go home wondering what has hit them, but I still have to say I was impressed by their performance.
That was so impressive performance. And it just had to come in the second half, actually, Alex. We thought that this would have been another probably game that Bayern was losing some points. But they've told us why they are Bayern Munich. 31 points, sitting pretty at the top of the table.
Quite amazing scoreline, 6-2. And I keep repeating myself, I never thought that Freiburg would take a 2-0 lead here, but they did. And I also didn't think, well, or did we know Bayern were going to come back like that, George? Is it that we felt somehow that they'd be provoked and they'd come back and hit Freiburg?
That was a clear provocation, Alex. And you would imagine with their players coming fresh from the international and performing pretty well in the international break for their respective countries, a lot was expected from them, and also having them play at home and trailing Freiburg with 2 goals at the first half.
Quite amazing.
It simply meant that they needed to turn around this particular game.
Yeah. What a game it's been from so many different points of views. I think we're just mesmerised by the football that Bayern played in the end. They are at the top of the table, 7 points ahead of Leverkusen, who won by 3-1 in Wolfsburg. And Wolfsburg really with big problems. They are 15th, just 1 point off the relegation playoff place, and they still haven't decided who's going to take over at Wolfsburg. They've got interim coach there, but we're still amazed by this Bayern performance. 6-2 against Freiburg. But you know, the story is, George, we're so amazed because they were 2-0 down.
Yeah.
If we'd seen the result 6-2, okay, would have said that was to be expected.
Yeah.
But I think what makes it special is that they were 2-0 down.
They were 2-0 down.
And came back to win by 6-2. What a performance.
a very strong statement that they are back in business, and that is why they are the top team in Bundesliga.
Very much so. But I tell you, that game in Dortmund, I think they're still playing. What a performance that's been by both sides. No, it's finished 3-3. Dortmund 3, Undaf 3. Undaf has scored 3 goals for Stuttgart. Emre Can scored for Dortmund to put them 1-0 up. Maximilian Bayer made it 2-0. Undaf then, 2 minutes into the second half, pulled the goal back for Dortmund. Undaf then got the equaliser in the 70th minute before Karim Adeyemi, the German-Nigerian striker, he put them 3-2 up, would you believe? And when it looked as if Dortmund were going to take the 3 points, there came Dennis Undaf once more to make it 3-3.
And spoil the party for them.
And spoil the party, very much so, for Borussia Dortmund. Amazing. What a performance that was by Stuttgart. A hat-trick by Undaf. Absolute madness at the Signal Iduna Park. An absolute madness here if you're a Bayern Munich fan. 6-2 the final scoreline here. Let's go through all the results of today. Last night we saw Mainz draw 1-1 against Hoffenheim. That leaves Mainz still in the relegation position in 17th on 6 points. Then, as we told you, Borussia Dortmund, Stuttgart 3-3. Then an excellent performance by Bayer Leverkusen. They win by 3-1 in Wolfsburg. Leverkusen now second in the table, 8 points behind Bayern. Augsburg beating Hamburg by 1-0. That is a very, very big relief there for the Augsburg supporters. And they've shot up the table, Augsburg, to 13th on 10 points. That is only 3 points away, though, still from the relegation playoff place. And Mönchengladbach with a fine victory there, 3-0 at Heidenheim. Heidenheim remain rooted to the Bundesliga, at the bottom of the Bundesliga table. The scorers for Mönchengladbach, Maschino, Tabavkovic and Kevin Dix. So Mönchengladbach is certainly back to their good form. And they've shot up the table to 11th. And that is, of course, an excellent comeback. They were so long at the bottom of the table. And I think Eugen Polanski will certainly get the job on a permanent basis at Mönchengladbach. 3-0 winners at bottom club Heidenheim. And, of course, Cologne, they face Frankfurt in a few minutes' time. Frankfurt have climbed up the table to 7th, which is quite good. Cologne slipping to 9th, as we told you, in the table after losing that Rhine derby at Mönchengladbach by 3-1. They've got a few players of African heritage there. Linton Miner, he's a German-Kenyan. A new player called Neo Tele, he's a German-Cameroonian. And, of course, Ragnar Ache, he's a German-Ghanaian. He's a good player, Ragnar Ache. He's been around for a long time at Frankfurt and at Kaiserslautern. Now doing the things for Cologne. Let's see if he can score against his former side there. And as we told you, Frankfurt shooting up the table to 7th. Be a difficult game for them in Cologne. And we'll be able to tell you the result maybe next week, because we've not got too much time on air. But we can tell you that Bayern Munich have performed in a fantastic way this afternoon, beating them, the opponents, by 6-2. What a performance, George. Are they your favourites for the Champions League, Bayern Munich?
Could be, with this amazing lead and, of course, dominance in the local league. One would expect that the same brilliance is carried to the top-flight European football. And Arsenal also having suffered an injury of their key dependable defender,
Gabriel.
Yeah.
Plenty of time, of course, for Bayern Munich to recover, but they've got really difficult games coming up, and we expect them to cruise through the rest of the Bundesliga season, because I can't see any side really troubling them this season in the Bundesliga. They've got such a comfortable lead. And we see again Borussia Dortmund disappointing, 3-3, although Stuttgart are a good side, but they'd be very disappointed, Borussia Dortmund. Plenty of goals as usual between Dortmund and Stuttgart. Before kickoff, there were 373 goals between them in the Bundesliga going over the years. And we had 6 goals again today. So Dortmund, of course, they've won just 2 of their last 6 Bundesliga fixtures. And although it was a brilliant game, it finished 3-3. They thought they'd got the winner. Plenty of players of African descent in that game too. Sekou Girassi, we thought he'd scored, but his goal was disallowed, the man from Guinea. Then, of course, they've got Benzi Baini, he's Algerian. Al-Mughira Kabak, he's a Libyan. Kani Chukwuemeka, he's an English-Nigerian. Felix Imnecha, he's German-Nigerian. Of course, Karim Adeyemi, how long will he still be at Borussia Dortmund for? He's German-Nigerian too. And a youngster on the bench there, Julien Douanville, he's Belgium-Congolese, very good player. And Stuttgart with plenty of players of African descent. Laurence Assignon, he's French-Togolese. Joshua Wagnermann, he's German-Ivorian. Then, of course, the veteran Dan Axel Zagadou, he's French-Ivorian. Justin Deal, he's German-Ghanaian. Silas, he's from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Will probably leave the club soon, but he's a very good striker, Silas. He's on the right side of 30. Then, of course, they've got Bilal El Khanous. He's a Moroccan who signed from Leicester City. Stuttgart, they've got Nicholas Nartai. He's Danish-Ghanaian. And Badreddin Bouanani, he's Algerian. He's a signing from Nice. And Jamie Leveling, he's German, French, and Ghanaian descent. So plenty of players of African descent at Stuttgart there. What a game that was. Stuttgart getting a 3-3 draw at Borussia Dortmund. So what will the headlines be, George?
Bayern thrashes Freiburg 6-2 after Atara provocation. But of course, the headline would be Bayern back to their leading spot of the Bundesliga. But that was expected, as you said earlier on, Alex. And it's just people expecting that there will be a team to stop Bayern. And maybe Leverkusen should do that job.
You never know. However, Bayern remain unbeaten after roaring back from being 2-0 down after 18 minutes to really thump Freiburg. I think Leonard Karl and Michael Olise were the stars today. As the defending champions, they go 8 points clear at the top of the Bundesliga table. And what I remember from this today's game was Michael Olise's last goal, the 6th.
It was brilliant.
It was a brilliant goal, cutting in from the left-hand side.
It's a masterclass kind of goal.
And putting it into the top-hand corner of the net. What a performance by Olise. And he didn't seem to be tiring, and he just created chance after chance. What a performance. What a performance by Bayern. We just have to wait and see how the season continues. But for me, there's nobody who's going to catch them in the Bundesliga, George.
But who knows, Alex? It's only some points.
Well, 8. 8 points lead for Bayern. So I can't see anybody in the Bundesliga catching Bayern Munich this season. But we saw that they still can concede goals. 2 today and 2 last week against Union Berlin. Being a perfectionist, I expect Vincent Kompany to really be worried about that, if you can believe him. Not happy at the goals his side conceded 2 weeks ago in Berlin, and he won't be happy at the 2 goals his side conceded today in that 6-2 win against Freiburg, the team from the Black Forest. From me, Alex Sisto, thanks for joining us, and catch us again next week at the same time here on DW Radio.
And my name is Jojo Kachi. Many thanks for listening.
VW. Made for my.
VW, learning by ear. Listen up, shape your future.
Hello there, welcome to the 6th episode of our Crime Fighters series, Uneasy Choices. Last time, we ended with Karima gasping in surprise at something she'd read in the diary of her friend Hajara, who was recently found dead. What can it be? We also left the mayor of Magaria in a rather sticky situation with both the community and the ruling elite. Senator Jomo represents the constituency Magaria is in, and he's made things clear. He wants 60% of the money the government has allocated to the town to prepare for the rainy season and fight a possible cholera outbreak. And the community really needs this money. We start this new episode entitled The Battle is Far From Over, with Sabitu and Karima wondering what they should do with the information they found in Hajara's diary.
Wow, I still can't believe this. Look at what she wrote here. During the signature ceremony with the African Development Bank, I saw the mayor and Boubacar standing in the corridor talking. I eavesdropped on their conversation, and that's when I finally understood what's going on. Boubacar and the mayor are embezzling the money allocated for cholera prevention. Money that should be going to the community. Money we all need to survive. This makes me sick. I don't know who I should tell. This is explosive information. And now I'm worried because they saw me and they know I had them.
Poor Hajara. That's why this happened to her. They went after our friend. She had to die because she found out about their secret.
Unbelievable. Two respectable members of the community with major responsibilities. And to think that we work every day with a dangerous man like Boubacar.
Shh! Stop saying his name out loud. He may be lurking here somewhere.
In my family's house? Boubacar doesn't even know where I live. Karima, you have to take it easy. You are becoming paranoid.
I'm just saying. What if somebody comes in unexpectedly and hears us? How do we explain?
Okay. I don't think it's enough for us to go to the police. Look, Hajara's been jotting down Boubacar's movements, especially after she saw him with some shady characters he called contractors. But she never made a note of what he said to them, or how they met, or what they talked about.
I know, but...
Karima, do you seriously want to go back to the police station? They won't believe us.
How can we know for sure unless we try?
In case you haven't noticed, we are also suspects.
I know. That's why I want to clear our names. Sabitu, if you don't want to, I'll go to the police by myself. Now, are you in on this or not?
Thanks for coming to the health center, Nasbinta.
No problem, Dr. Arif. The center is only a couple of streets away from the hospital. And you're right, it's easier to talk here. It's definitely quieter.
I really hope this cholera outbreak doesn't spread too quickly, but we have to be prepared. Boubacar says the contractors will soon deliver sanitizers, disinfectants, oral rehydration solutions, and all the other things we asked for to help us deal with the crisis.
Oh, Dr. Arif, that's so good to hear. Hopefully it won't be like last year or the year before that. And if there's a serious outbreak, we'll be ready.
I'm more worried about immunization, though.
What do you mean immunization? The campaign was very successful. Lots of people came to the hospital.
It was a different story for those of us who went to people's homes. I actually felt like giving up and coming back to join you all at the hospital. It took ages going round all the houses, first of all. But on top of that, people were so contemptuous. I almost thought they might throw stones at us. Some people actually believe you're trying to make them and their babies sterile.
Really? That's terrible. You'd have thought that after all the deaths in recent years, they'd jump at the opportunity to be vaccinated.
It seems it doesn't work like that. There were a whole load of other crazy stories. You wouldn't believe it. That's why I want us to have another information workshop to make everything absolutely clear and answer people's questions.
Good day to you all.
Mr. Essel, good day to you too. We weren't expecting you. It's not every day we get a visit from a politician, let alone the opposition party leader.
Sorry I didn't make an appointment. I thought I'd just drop by to see Bubakar.
I'm afraid he's not around, but I'll let him know you came.
All right. But I think it's something I can discuss with you as well. I'm not one to beat about the bush, you see.
Okay.
I just want to inform you that this week we are going to start holding rallies in front of the community center to let people know what's really going on.
What do you mean what's really going on?